The tab.
Hello. Welcome back to my channel. I am here. We're talking about TBRs because I could not be bothered to sit down and film today. It just today it wasn't happening today. For reasons that I will not get into. But if you know, you know. Nothing bad. I just sometimes days conspire against you. But all right, so let me run everyone through what we're going to be doing today, and then I'll go ahead and let Kara introduce herself. So this is my June TBR for Fablen, and it is also going to be Kara's June TBR for Fablen. Please clap. I got the direction right on the first try.
Good job. I don't even point when I do these, so.
Cal is going to make so much fun of me afterwards. So what I am going to do, I am going to run through Avengers stuff just real quick because I always do that for people. I'm going to run through any books that I need to be reading this month, including the picks for the Curious Minds Book Club for our next round. And then I have a couple of announcements, and then we will start doing all of our check-ins. If there is anything that you specifically need to read this month, Kara, we can definitely talk about that when we get to that section. If anyone in the comments is doing Fablen, go ahead and let me know how you did in May. We're going to find out how much May is going to... It was not as bad as April. Because I did utilize my ability to switch out books as long as I was before 10% in them, and I just did that. So, anyways, Kara, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your channel, etc., etc.
All right. Hi, everyone. So my name is Kara. My channel is Wild Book Garden. I read all kinds of things on my channel. My most read genres are fantasy and historical fiction, but I also read a lot of contemporary, nonfiction, classics, even some romance now and then, magical realism. Like, I pretty much read everything, and that's very important to me. Also, in terms of age ranges, that's a big thing that I talk about on my channel a lot, is how important it is to read very broadly in every sense of the word. Yeah, and I'm excited. What's that?
I said you are the middle grade queen.
Thank you. Yes, I try. I host things about middle grade because I'm very passionate about it. So yeah, and I'm excited.
Yeah. I wish I read more, but I'm trying to be better about that. Not just really Percy Jackson.
Yeah. But it's one of those things which, like, I think is true of any kind of category of book that that you have to like get into, is once you start finding stuff, it's easy to find a lot, but like it's not pushed the same way as other kinds of books. So like that's something I definitely noticed, is now it's super easy to find out about middle grade I'm interested in or new releases because like I'm following people, you know, who do that. So I understand that.
Very cool. Very cool. So real quick, let's discuss the Avengers updates that we have for the month of June. We're in the middle of the boss battle. If y'all hadn't noticed, those of you who are doing Avengers with us, I just started today because I had to finish a book, and then I needed a break to emotionally process finishing the book. My June wrap-up is going to be fun, y'all. I'm going to come out swinging from the bat.
Same.
My first book in June is going to be like, hi, guys, 1 star. But we are watching... we just watched The Eternals yesterday, which was actually really decent. I was expecting it to be a shit show, but it was really good, in my opinion. And then we're also going to be watching Shang-Chi in a couple of weekends. I am not entirely sure when those will be, because we decide that about 4 days before we watch it, just in case anyone is wondering. And then the characters that we released were Cersei, Makari, and Phastos. So I'm just going to run everybody through stuff real quick. So let me put the screen up there. So we have Cersei, and her prompts are: read a book with green on the cover, a book that uses historical elements, a book with a mom friend, a book that fights a corrupt system, watch something that deals with social justice issues, read a book with a character you're personally attracted to. Can you tell that was our bisexual ladies? on the, like, yeah.
I always
And
love your
then-
guys' prompts.
It is. We really do. Like, they do a great job of like coming up with really interesting stuff. Read an adult romance, read a book that has a cover change, and then read a book with a wedding. Although, if you've watched Eternals, I don't know that wedding should count. Give me just a second. I'm going to pull Makari up, who, yes. Okay, there we go. Let's pull that back up. All right. And then for Makari, we have read a book with red and silver on the cover, read a book with a character who is an empath, read a book that discusses / focuses on accessibility, read a book with a disabled BIPOC character, read / watch something with a deaf or hearing impaired protagonist. Can't count watching the Eternals. I'm sorry. Read a book with a sarcastic character, and then, let's see, read a book with 2 characters you think are made for each other, read a book with an Afro-Latinx author, and read a book about a bookworm. There are so many of those, so that should not be difficult for those of us in the book world. And then the final one we did, let me scroll up to where he is Fastos, who is a cinnamon roll, and I love him. And he's right. Humanity does not deserve to exist. Anyways, Fastos' prompts are read a book with a boat, read a book released in the fall of any year, read a queer romance, read a book that explores queer families / parenting, which, oh my God, him doing the thing with his kid, brushing his teeth, was so cute. Oh my God. Read / watch something with existential or philosophical themes, read a book with a tactical character, read a character going through a crisis of faith, morale, not spiritual faith, read a book with celestial themes on the cover, and read a book with an inventor or an engineer. I did go ahead and get some of these into Fablen for this month. I didn't add as many as I would have liked, but I added enough. So, Kara, do you have any books that you need to read this month?
Yes, I do. I actually have 3 like book club type things. So our Prostate Classics one, which is me, Taylor from Page Screen Taylor, and Julia from Shakespeare and Such. We pick a classic that we read every month. Usually one that most of us haven't read, and like sometimes it's one that we like meant to read and never got to, or maybe it's a reread of one that we want to like more. This is one that none of us have ever read because it's pretty underhyped. Is that a correct word for a classic? But it's The Nobility and Excellence of Women and the Defects and Vices of Men by Lucrezia Marinella, which is edited and translated by Anne Dunhill. So this is published in like 1600. And this like Italian man like published this thing that was talking about how like women are the worst, and Lucrezia was like, I don't think so. And so she published like a counter argument to that, and it's known in history as the first time in Italy that a woman argued with a man in print, which is pretty cool. So and it's like a pretty short one, and I've never read a feminist classic from 1600 before, so excited about that. And I'm going to be hosting that live show if you guys have been reading along. And then also me and my friend Hannah from Lynn Hermione we're picking back up with our Frances Harding read along. We took our break that we were planning to. So we're going to be reading the live tree, excuse me. And we haven't set a date for this one yet, but it's not going to be earlier than I think the 12th. And this one is not as long as some of hers. So if you want to jump in, you still have time. And this is going to be a really interesting one because when Hannah and I were planning who was going to talk about what, we thought it'd be really interesting if we each hosted the discussion for our least favorite books. So this is Hannah's least favorite. So it's going to be on my channel because she's a book blogger. She doesn't use her channel for like video stuff. So I'm going to be hosting it, but she's going to be leading the discussion. And that was going to be a really interesting reread, I think, for both of us. And then the last one I don't actually have with me, but I am a guest on the Bronte Long that is hosted by Sarah from Sarah's Perusals and Mary from Mary Among Stories and a bunch of other lovely people. And I'm just excited to read Anne Bronte again. So that's the Tenet of Wildfell Hall, which I think we already have the date for that. And I can pull that up right now. It's the beginning of July. Yeah, so it's Saturday, July 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And that's another really good feminist classic. So I'm excited.
Nice. I will go ahead and get those into, speaking of, I should probably remove the live ship read along from the description of this video. But I'll get those in the description at some point so that people can check those out. Check back in a couple of days. I have a couple of books that I need to read for the Curious Minds book club that I am doing with Sarah over at Novel Serendipity. I have to finish Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. I haven't started this one yet. Halfway through Hood Feminism, so that one I'm not really worried about. But I've got to read that one for our discussion. We will be doing that. We're still working on the date because we had to push things out a little bit. I know for sure Noria from Chronicles of Noria is going to be joining us. And then we have a couple of other people that are talking about, like, we're just trying to figure out scheduling stuff and if they're going to be able to do it. So that'll be our May picks. And then for July, I would like to, for our July picks, I would like to get through at least one of these this month. Which is probably going to be The Rape of Nanking by Irish Chang. This is the nonfiction book that the Poppy War by R.F. Kuang is based on, or it's heavily like she used this for her research because this is specifically about there's a specific, is it Sino-Japanese war? But it's specifically about when a whole bunch of Japanese soldiers came in and just absolutely devastated Nanking, and they killed, I think, about 300,000 people, basically murdered and raped their way through the entire city. There's something that I just finished Grass, and they talk about it a little bit because it's about Japan's imperialism. But massive trigger warnings for sexual assault, violence against women. I believe there's also some weird stuff about like forced hysterectomies, that kind of thing. But I'm trying, my goal with this, because I don't know that much about what actually happened historically. Like, I know the vague overview, but not a lot of details. My goal is to read this one this month, if I can get it in. So, and then the final one that I have to, without dropping everything, have to read is City of Dusk by Tara Sim. I know nothing about this except that it is the June pick for the late night book club, and I have to start reading it tomorrow because I'm buddy reading it with Cal and Brianna. So, okay, let us real quick. Oh, one more announcement. So we will be doing another Weekend Word Nerdathon, July 1st through July 4th. It is going to be specifically, I'm just putting this under the Weekend Word Nerdathon banner, but it's going to be the 2022 Reading Scramble. So that is coming back. I don't have all of the prompts, but I have some fun plans for it. And yeah. I'll put a call out for co-hosts too at some point, probably.
I'm excited.
Yes, I thought that was a really fun one, and I'm going to try and do something a little bit different that maybe will not be as visually challenging to create.
Yeah.
So, I'm either going to have, I'll talk about it later. I'm going to have a full-on announcement video that I do at some point towards the end of the month when we get closer. So I'll probably do like an announcement video on my TBR. But that is it for announcements. And I still need that. Those are my notes. Let's go ahead, check in with our Fablen. How have you been doing, Kara, with Fablen? Have you already done your check-in for last month, or?
Yes, I just pulled it up, and the last one I had to get was Ship of Destiny, and I did finish that before the end of the month, so I'm still looking good. So far, I have not taken a punishment, but that, like, the reason is because when I was figuring out my character, I picked the no set TBR one, which was chaotic neutral, and I'm like, I am willing to add a quest if it means I can change my mind when I want to. Yeah. But still pretty excited that I haven't done any punishments yet.
Nice. No, and I did end up adding an option if you wanted to, so that you now can switch out. I am lawful evil, which means fun things for me. I can like double up on stuff, and I did a lot of doubling up this month. So speaking of, let me real quick pull up my Fablen because I need to double check a couple of things because it's been a while. So for me, to check in with everyone, I'm not going to do the whole narrative thing because, again, I just don't have, like, my brain is fried for the day, but I need a TBR, so we're going to do this. But let me go ahead. I have an outline, thank God.
Past Margaret was nice to you.
She was very kind. I just want to double check my lawful evil. Okay, I just have to roll a d6 and I just subtract that from my consequence rolls. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to take a consequence roll for every single consequence that I did. So I don't have any of these books here, and that's just going to be how it goes. Okay, so I pilled 9 quests last month. One of them was to read a diverse retelling. I Can Speak. I actually ended up, I'm going to have to postpone that book for other plans that I am now doing that I was not doing at the time. So I'm actually just going to roll that over into June. So and I already have the book that I've started that with, which is By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. It was literally, I was on my walk and it was in my free little library. And I was like, I need a book with Grumpy Sunshine for Avengers.
Perfect.
So I picked it up. I was also supposed to read a Portal Fantasy and read Pride and Prejudice. That did not happen. Just it didn't. I forgot what a TBR was this month. Like, I read a lot. I just didn't read my TBR. So give me just a second. Okay. 6. I have to get 6 now, don't I? Levels. Okay. You can tell that I make this up on the fly. Okay. I'm also going to get punished because I did not fulfill my species requirement. I read 0 sci-fi. Unless you count Full Metal Alchemist, which I don't think that counts, because Full Metal Alchemist, despite being a hard magic system, is a fantasy. Like, it's science, but it is fantasy. Okay. Level 1, 5. Okay, so 6 or higher is a pass on this one. So let's see. My consequence if I do not get this one is I have to add an extra book. I have to read 2 books of my required genre next month. So that means I have to read 3 sci-fis next month if I use this one. Oh god, it's a 15. Oh shit. Nope, because I have to also no, it's a 15. I'm fine. I'll roll this. Subtract 3, it's a 12. Let's see, because I combined Dark Victory, Capture the Crown. Oh no, I only have to do that twice. Okay, perfect. The other one that I was supposed to read was a book over 500, a fantasy over 500 pages. I was going to read Assassin's Quest. Fitz is being super, like, he is being so dumb. I can't deal with him right now.
Yeah.
And then again, I just finished Ship of Destiny. All right, we'll call this one the other one that I added consequence to. Okay, I have to subtract a 1. For this one, remind me I need to make an announcement about the quests. Okay, so this one, my punishment is I have to add 100 pages to my magical ability requirement. So, no, that's a 0. That's worse than that one. That's a 0. All right, so I have to add 100 pages, which isn't bad because my magical ability is 250.
Okay.
I was proud. And then let's see. The other ones that I was supposed to read, I did not read Such a Fun Age, obviously, but I did swap it out for Batman Dark Victory. I also used Batman Dark Victory to fulfill the quest that I was supposed to read a sequel because I'm still working on that sequel. And then let's see. I was not able to complete Tiamat's Wrath, so I had to substitute Capture the Crown for the one where I do a dungeon rescue. Or they're basically, it's a book with a jailbreak. Thankfully, that had one. And then I did finish Capture the Crown and Ninth House. Those are the only 2 books for my TBR that I read. So 9 books I read. What's the number? 2. I read 2 out of 9. And then I have to do one more consequence. Let's see, for Alchemy 101, which is down here. Okay, which is read a book with an MC in a science field. Have to add another 100 pages if I fail this one. And it is a 6, so I'm good. It's fine. Okay, So my only consequence this month is that I have to read a 350-page book, which multiple books here will fit that. So, speaking of announcements, if you go into the quests of Fablen, what is the word? Spreadsheet. I am making some changes. I have removed all of the like class type, Questmore type quests and put them on their own separate spreadsheet. So Questmore is going to have like 50 different quests, 40, 50. I don't know. We're still working on that number, but enough that like there is some variety for people who want to eliminate quests as they do them. I'm still working on that, but I did add 7 new quests this month. Some, like I said, that match with the Avengers stuff, and then one that I just wanted to do. We're letting my adventures as a DM in D&D inspire me.
Cool.
So, no one is pooping in anyone's mouth in my quests here on Fablen, but you know, that's. I swear to God, I have the most chaotic group of players.
It sounds like it.
And like 50% of that is just Cal. So how many quests do you need to pull, Kara?
So I need to pull 9 because my occupation requires 8, but then because I chose the alignment where I don't have to set a TBR, that adds 1 quest, but it also kind of balances out because my animal is a horse, which means I can combine 2 quests. So
nice,
9 quests,
nice.
9 quests, but 8 books. Yeah.
Nice. I have a bear, so I have not been able to use it.
Okay. Hard to take a bear with you.
I want to see one. Dang it, too late now, Margaret. All right, so I have 11 quests in here. Like I said, I had just enough. So let's see what our first one is. All right. There's one that I'm really excited for, but also dreading. Let's see. Okay, and I did add back in some of the ones that I have completed. So if any of these you want to swap out for something else, you can always like roll again. But Finding the Wizard's Ring is the first one that comes up, which is to read a book with jewelry on the cover. Let me see. I can spell. I actually want to take a look at what arcs I have for this one. Let us take a look at the arcs real quick. Do any of these have? Wait, because that's so far out though. Okay, none of them do. That's fine. I can work with that. Which is this one? I think that's the second one. Okay. All right. So I think what we're going to go with, because I'm counting this as jewelry because it's a helmet, but it's decorative. This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi is what I think we're going to go with for this one. Again, I may switch. Ow. Wait a minute. Is there? Nope, that's a city. Wait. Yes. Okay. Scratch that. I'm going to go with City of Dusk because it has a crown, and a crown counts as jewelry.
I agree.
I'm glad I checked that. Okay, thank God. That was the one I was really worried about getting in. All right. Do you have? Oh, you do yours.
Yes. So here's what I think I'm gonna do because I have to do so many quests every month that like I've caught up with the new ones. So I'm gonna do the 7 new ones that you added, and then the last 2 is I'm going to randomize and pull from all of them. So that means that the first, and I do pick books I'd like to get to for these. I just know that I can switch them out if I want. So the first one is, I had it ready to go. Where do I go? Okay. Goblin Attack. So I have to roll a d4 and read that many books in 1 week.
Okay, would
Which
you like me to
shouldn't
roll the
be...
D4 for you?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Otherwise, I'd have to use a random number generator. So let's do that. That's more visually appealing.
So the way I actually did it, if you only have a D20 and a D6, I just said re-roll your D6 until you get a number that's under 4. So
okay.
You can do that. But I have a D4 right here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so you got a 2.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I think I've already done that this week. Perfect.
I know. I did when we were doing graphic novels last weekend. I read so many books.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I doubled what I'm going to be doing. I want to get Goblin Attack because that one I'm excited for. All right, next quest that I will be doing, and we'll see if that's one that you've already done. Oh, well, my next quest is the Goblin Attack.
We're being attacked by goblins together.
I mean, that is typically how it happens with quests.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Okay.
This is the same Goblin Attack.
Oh, I should probably put down what books. City of Dusk. All right. Let me go ahead. That doesn't count. It landed on the floor. I have to read 3. That's fine. I can do that. We're in the middle of a boss battle. I can do that. So, 3 books. All right, that one's relatively simple, thank God. All righty. Next quest. We're also going to say that City of Dusk fulfills my magical ability requirement. Let's see. So 29, preparing for an ambush, read a book with a tactical character.
Oh, I'm going to have to do that one too, I think. Because that's one of the newer ones.
Yeah. One of the newer ones.
Ooh, okay. Let me look while you're looking.
Let me think. I think, actually, considering that I already know that this is a slight plot point for the book, not that it's tactical in a good way, but I'm going to read Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. One of these characters is very tactical in certain things that she does, and I dislike her for it.
Yes.
Which quest is that again? Preparing an ambush. I don't know who we're ambushing, but I'll figure it out.
Maybe it's the goblins who are fighting us.
Apparently, maybe we're revenge attacking the goblins.
Yes. Okay, I think I'll just do my tactical one now since we're talking about it. I think, see, this is tricky because I'm realizing that my TBR, because I'm doing the queer lit readathon and the queer romance readathon too, and that's much heavier on contemporaries than I normally do, and I don't think of that as being like tactics. Oh, it can be.
It can be. People can be like tactical about their career. They can be tactical about social stuff, about relationships.
Okay, I'm going to go with Miss Meteor by Anna Marie McLemore and Taylor Kim Mejia because they're both trying to win like a pageant queen kind of thing, and I think that's tactical.
So yes, absolutely. They're having to plan out what they're doing. Hold on, let me get to buy the book. What was the first retelling? Okay, questing crew. Okay, so I have to have 9 down here at the end of the day. And of course, it messed up my numbering system, so that was really fun to figure out. As I'm trying, like I changed everything before I had sat down and figured out what quest I did last month, and so I had to look for some. Okay, so the next one is Seeking Answers in the Great Library. Read a nonfiction book. Yes. Okay. Obviously, we're going to do The Rape of Nanking for that one.
And that one is one that I am also doing because it's one of the new ones. And this is the one that I'm choosing to double up on. So I'm using this and also the buddy read prompt, which I forget the name of that one. That's one of the new ones.
We'll get there.
telling stories around the campfire. So I'm using both of those to count for the nobility and excellence of women because it is a nonfiction and I'm reading it for a book club. So I consider that a buddy read.
Nice. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Hopefully I will be able to get some of these arcs in here. I may just choose a couple that I'm going to swap out for arcs at some point.
Yeah.
Because I didn't sit down to see which ones were, oh, there we go. There's one I can use. Running low on rations. Read a book that you already own. All right, I need to get a NetGalley for this one. Oop. So I have some arcs. That's an odd cover. I need to get in touch with someone at NetGalley because this book has not been available for download at all since I got it. Okay, let's go by pub date. Let's see, because I have a couple that are June ones. Are there any that I'm specifically excited for? Not that one. I got approved for Silkfire before all of the stuff went down with it, and now I have no idea what to do about it.
Oh.
Okay,
Who's the author on that one?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so I think what we're gonna go with is Furian's Fire. It's a debut, and it's about a woman who is Lady Tessamine Canyon, gets jilted by her betrothed, Prince Lyndon. And it sounds like... Okay, so let's see. Here we go. Left utterly humiliated, Tess betrays a tightly guarded secret to an enemy spy, a decision that throws the Diane of Gladmont into chaos. Hunted by bloodthirsty mercenaries, Tess flees into the Hinge Forest. There, with the help of a wild owl and a 200-year-old bear, Tess begins to unlock the forgotten mysteries of her people. So this... Okay. So she has to master the weapon's power, and then she's also going to end up reuniting with the prince who called off their engagement. So that sounds like fun. It's being published by Girl Friday Books, and it comes out this Tuesday, which is the 7th. So we'll put that in there. All right. Yes, Julie, I just saw this. The boss battle will keep me moving through books. If I do it, that is my worst thing, is like I will forget that there is a boss battle going on. So anyways. All right. Oh, dang it. Buying winter gear. Read a book that takes place in winter. That's one of the older ones. Let me see. Do any of these look like they take place in winter? Oh, one of them is called January 15th. That is also a June release, June 14th.
That would be.
And why did I choose this one? Oh, it's a sci-fi. Okay, that's good. Oh, and it's queer. At least one of the characters is. So we're dealing with a middle-aged mother who, it's the anniversary of the day she took her two children and fled her abusive ex-wife. We have a journalist, and we have a college freshman and a pregnant teen. And it is a near-future science fiction novella by Rachel Swirsky about the status quo and another chance at making lasting change. Okay.
I think that's the one that's like with universal basic income payments, right? It's like, what if?
What if?
Yeah.
Hold on. What was I supposed to? Okay. I should probably continue writing down my TBR because that is what killed me last time. Okay. I think I might have just picked that one because of the book. But that's on January 15th, so it has to be in the winter.
Yes. I always have a hard time with like season ones unless it's like the school year is starting, you know? It's like hard to...
Well, I feel like a lot of them, especially if you're doing like a contemporary that takes place over any amount of time, you're going to hit it.
That's true. So, it'll have at least like a scene that happens.
And I actually should probably email... I was supposed to get an ARC or something, and I need to email them because it's supposed to be coming out soon. I just realized that, and I haven't received it yet. Okay. How many is that from me? That is, I'm on 7, so I only need 2 more. All right. Next one. Oop, that's 2. That one can go back in. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
I don't have a lot of these. Okay, so it's Welcome to Fablen. I need to read a Portal Fantasy.
Oh, I'm worried I'm gonna pull that one. I don't have many of those either.
I could just do Pride and Prejudice again. I could. That would be the smart thing to do, is to read this one again, or to just carry this over. So I think that's what we're gonna do, because this sounds like a Portal Fantasy. Now, if I'm wrong about it, it's that's one of the things for me. Like, I feel like if you read a book for a prompt because it seems like it's gonna fit that prompt, unless it is like egregiously off, like,
yeah,
do it.
And
it's really funny when people are like, does this count? Can you use this? And I'm like, you can if you don't tell us. Okay. That'll be fun. I need something that's nice and lighthearted. I also have like 6 other books I need to finish. But that's a different story. Okay. All right. This is a new one. I can tell it's a new one because it's got the printing on it. Telling stories around the campfire, buddy read a book. So in this one, I am actually going to exercise my lawful evil powers and double up with City of Dusk because I am buddy reading that one. Hence why I put the prompt in there.
Hey, when you're hosting, you can do that.
Yep. Yes, I can.
One of the perks.
Yeah. Well, most of these are like things that I want to do myself, like to get me to read more. Although I still have to technically read 9 books. No, I have to read 10 books because of the goblin attack, but that's fine. You just gotta
goblins.
It's fine. And that's like, we'll say if you're less than halfway through a book, it can count. Just, to make things easier on me. All right. So how did you do? You still have a couple you need to pull, right?
Yes. I'll do the ones that I know I'm doing first.
Okay.
So one of the other new ones is a book with an inventor. I think I just started the Tea Dragon Tapestry. I feel like a blacksmith could maybe count.
Well,
like,
it's based off of Fastos. So, I mean, he is a magical blacksmith almost. Yeah,
and like the part, I'm only like 1 chapter in, and she's like, she just like invented like a bell for somebody. So I'm like, I think that counts.
Boom. There we go.
So I'm counting that one. Dragon Tapestry. Okay. And then I talked about a couple of these. And then I'm also, let's see, I'm doing Raiding the Armory. So I have to roll a d6 and read a book that meets that weapon requirement. Margaret, will you help me out?
I can. That would be a 6. And if I think this is self-explanatory, but if you get your own weapon, you need to redo that. So let's see. What is 6? 6 is the axe, which means you need to read an arc. Or you can.
Oh.
I'm sure you have some arcs.
I do actually. This is perfect. Okay, let me check which one is coming out soonest so I can be smart about this.
That is very smart.
Okay, I might have another one that I could count for this instead, but my plan right now would be the Hearts of Briarwall by Krista Jensen. This doesn't come out until August, so I'd be reading it a little early, but I don't know. It's like one of the proper romances, so it's going to be very sweet. And I've enjoyed the things I've read from this imprint before, and it sounds really interesting because the female lead is like really into motor cars, which is not
that's
something.
interesting.
Yeah, and it's like set in the Edwardian era, so that's like not really something.
They're brand new.
Yes. Oh, actually, okay, this might
that
also
actually makes sense because that would have been like because they were so new, you were as likely to have women, like women drove them a lot, and like that was a big thing fancy women did. So that would actually make sense. Like that was before the kind of the stigma developed to some extent. I mean, I'm sure there was stigma all the time, but like
yeah. I think also it mentions suffrage on the back. I don't know if that's going to be like a major plot point, but if so, I'm even more excited. So that's my like tentative pick. I might, like I said, I might have to check on. There's one book that I got like as an ARC that had already come out, I think. So I do need to read that one at some point, but it doesn't feel as urgent.
It's urgent because it's already come out.
Yes. Okay. And then I don't know if I'm even going to pick a book right now for the Running Low on Rations because most of the books I'm reading are going to be ones that I own.
That you own?
Yeah. Because I'm trying to hold myself back on library requests because I have so many books that I can read myself. Okay. Now I think it is time to pick my 2 bonus quests.
Yes.
So that would be 1 through 47 on the generator, I think.
It would be 1 through 30. Sorry, 33. No, it would be 1 through 26 at this point if you're not wanting to double up on any of the new ones.
Oh, okay. 1 through 26, you said?
Yeah. Unless you like, because the numbers are completely different now because of what I did to change everything. So
right. Okay, maybe I'll put in 40, or I'll do through 40 since the other ones are really new. And then if it's one that I have done recently, I can just pull again. Okay. So the result is 16, which on my list, oh no, stupid wizard's ring. All right, with jewelry on the cover.
Mine at 16 is accidentally discovering you're the prophesied hero. So I
probably will stick with my list just because that's easier for me to keep track of.
That makes sense.
But let me see. All right, there's one series I just started, which actually I chose daggers as my weapon because I need to make myself read sequels. Yeah. So this would also count for that if I can find it.
Notice that I'm doing a lot of prompts for stuff that I do that requires you to read a sequel.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
I had a prompt in READATHON. There's an extra prompt in here. There will probably be a prompt in when I do the 2022 scramble. So
perfect. Okay. I am going to count The Selkie Scandal by Rosalie Oakes, which is in the Lady Diviner series, and she's a jewel diviner. Although, if I'm looking at the cover for this one, I thought it was like a pearl, but actually it's a clamshell, which is not jewelry. Okay, wait, let me look. There's like one library hold that has come in that I can maybe count for this.
Okay.
Let's do some investigating here. Is that jewelry? I can't tell. Okay. I can see on the cover she's wearing earrings, so I'm counting this.
That counts.
So that's going to be Heartless Prince by Angela DeVito, written by Lee Dragoon, which is a very cool last name. And this is a graphic novel that has terrible reviews, but the premise sounded so interesting that I am taking a chance on it. And it's from my library, and it's a graphic novel, so it won't be that big of a time.
It won't be that tragic if you decide you don't like it.
Right. Okay, so Heartless Prince is going for jewelry on the cover. Alrighty, and then the last prompt Let me do my generator again. 2. That better not be. Oh, pick 3 books you know little about and ask someone else to choose what you read. Margaret, would you like to pick a book for me? Okay. Now
I can.
I have to find 3 that I don't know that much about, which is actually kind of hard at this point.
I mean, that's most of my physical TBR at this point because it's been so long since I read the synopses, I forgot.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I know some I can pick because there's. I'm gonna take a moment here.
Take several moments if you need to.
There's one.
And if is there anything else? I am still, by the way, guys, working on why is this not working? I'm still working on the entire level up system and how that's going to work and how that's going to happen.
Good, we'll get I was there. Worried I had like missed the explanation.
No, you have not because I have not. I still have to figure out how I'm going to do it. Because I have an idea, but I'm trying to, like, because I did what I did with the occupations, it makes it harder to make everything fair. So.
Okay, I just need one more to pick.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, wait, maybe it's one.
Oh. You know what? Let's make that a number because someone spelled the number out. Yeah. All right. This is a very serious decision.
I know. It's like I wouldn't have thought that I was so. I wouldn't have thought I was so knowledgeable about books I need to read until I had to like.
Democracy will die if you do not make the right choice, Kara.
I know. I have a problem with like being hung up on decisions that don't matter. I apologize.
Yeah. So no,
okay. You know what? We're just gonna go for it. All right. Here we go.
All right. What do we got?
So here's your options. Another Brooklyn by Jacqueline Woodson.
Jacqueline Woodson.
Looking for Alibrandi by Melina Marchetta. I still don't know how to say her name, and nobody seems to agree.
Do we know if she's Italian?
She is, but I don't know if she pronounces it like she is.
Okay, that is true.
Yeah. And then Wild Blue Wonder by Carly Sorosiak. Here are your options.
It's between the Jacqueline Woodson book or Wild Blue Wonder. Okay, I am going to take a look at what these books are about.
Okay. You can have that information. I cannot.
I can have that information, and I'm just going to go based on which one that I would want to. Let's see. Let's check this out. And then Wild Blue Wonder, you said, was the other one?
Yeah.
That cover is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
You picked very depressing books.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go with Wild Blue Wonder.
Okay.
That's the one that I most would want to read right now. So
cool. This is perfect because like I have owned this book for an embarrassingly long time and I have very little idea of what it's about, which is why it's here.
When did this come out? 2018 is not an embarrassing long amount of time. I've got stuff that's been up there since 2012.
Okay. I have a couple of those as well, but
So,
all right. Thank you for your assistance. Okay,
my
so this
pleasure.
is
About half of what I have has been up there that long.
I need to do some kind of like reading project for this because I realized there are certain shelves because I put my read and unread books together because I group them by like genre and like vibe. And so the problem sometimes is that there are shelves that I just get used to as it's almost like I get so used to looking at them that I don't think about picking a book from them.
Yeah.
Which is silly. So I need to not do that. And at some point I'm going to do some kind of like project on that. But
my the reason I have mine separated is because I wanted rainbow shelves, but I as a person cannot separate series.
Yeah.
So that is where I have my rainbow shelves, because it doesn't matter if series are separated up there. They will be separated on my red shelf or together on my red shelf. And then depending on how much room each shelf has, if I've already if it's something that I've already got books on that series, I may put it there. I may put it up there. It just depends. So, all right. Do you have anything that you want to plug for your channel?
There's the book clubs I talked about earlier. If you want spicy Robin Hobb opinions. I'm kidding. Like, I'm not kidding about having them. I'm kidding about promoting them.
It's one of those things that I think sometimes people get so and I'm probably guilty of this as well. Like, if a book really works for you, you're able to overlook the flaws. And unfortunately, despite the rest of the series work, like despite 90% of the book working for me, the last like 10% did not. And so therefore I can't, like, the flaws are even more glaring, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think, like, it would have also helped if I had heard people talk about it more as, like, I love this enough to overlook these flaws, instead of, like, there are no flaws.
Well, like, what was it? Eye of the World. I went into Eye of the World expecting it to be on the same level as Terry Goodkind, which, considering that Terry Goodkind is one of, like, my formative fantasy series that I read as a kid, that might explain why I'm like, why is this considered dark fantasy?
Yeah.
Because to me it's just I'm like, I don't understand. Is it because things are more okay? But like, I was expecting it to be on par with that. I was expecting it to be on par with some of like the science fiction that I've read from around that time, because it was mid-90s, and I was pleasantly surprised with how well he treated his female character. Like, it wasn't perfect, but for a man writing in the 90s, he did a decent job. Like, each of his female characters, or the main female characters, had their own plots. Like, they didn't just revolve around the main male character, and that was really refreshing.
Well, and that's why I'm actually more hopeful about trying Robert Jordan's books, because I have, I think, much better expectations set than I did for Robin Hobb.
Well, now we know Robin Hobb's expectations get to be on the floor.
Yeah.
So she can surprise me by a book I like.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I think that I may end up liking. Like, there's still a chance I'll end up liking Assassin's Quest, just based on how I think it ends from where I am and based on what feedback that I've heard. And I think the other books I could end up liking, just depending on stuff. So I haven't entirely given it up. I'm just mad right now.
Yeah. I honestly, 80% of the reason I'm going to continue is because, like we were talking about, this series is one that people act like you can't have an opinion about until you've read all 16.
All of it. Which is ridiculous. Like, you can also judge stuff on, like, the one that was like, you shouldn't read the series if you're not willing to read the entire series. And I was like, no, people can quit series if they don't like them.
Yeah, and like, I like when books or series in a world like build on each other, but you still have to be a story by yourself. Like, so in answer to your question, I don't really have anything to plug aside from those book clubs.
That's funny. Well, I feel a little bit better about that, knowing that, like, I think specifically the thing I had an issue with, having that be something that is built on later, I wish we'd maybe found a different way to do that, kind of like hint at that, instead of messing with someone's trauma, or magically removing it. But, like, for the most part, I do think it was pretty well contained within the series.
I think there's also something to be said for like, even if you do redeem something later, it's like I can still judge your writing based on what you're
Based
doing
on what
now.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not saying that that couldn't affect my opinion on a previous book if things really do, like I have reservations, but if things really do fix those issues that we had, like that could make me think more
Yeah.
positively about some things in this book. But I also think it's valid to be like, if you make the choice to put off dealing with this, then I'm going to judge your book as if you haven't dealt with it because you haven't yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think it just depends because, like, I don't know, because they are separate series, that's what bothers me. Because I can, like, when you have a series where you get to a point, it's like, oh, that's why that happened. Like with the thing with the boy that Althea was her first time. The fact that was one of those things that it was like so very like she set that up so well, and I don't know why we didn't set the rest of what happened in her storyline up that well.
I do think, like, also though, I wouldn't have been so irritated by how that was portrayed at the beginning if that hadn't fit in with other issues I was seeing. Like, okay, getting into just a little bit my like opinions. I'm really nervous about this posting this wrap up, but like I actually say it's like I have read books by Victorian men that deal with gender better. Like, I have, and I think there are things that she improves from previous books, but like I don't know. People act like her female characters are like masterful and like such a feminist series, and like I don't know.
I also think that there is a way to have like things like misogyny and bigotry in a series and do it in a way that even though that may be how the character's story goes, it's still challenging it. And I think she did that for some of the characters, and it confuses me the characters she chose not to do that with.
Yes, agreed. So, it's inconsistent.
Like that was one of my problems also with Once and Future Wishes, because there were certain issues that I felt that actually, no, that one was specific word choices that she used that I was like, I don't feel comfortable with you having used this so casually in the narrative. Like I can understand it in dialogue because that is what people would have used. And like you're not going with the worst option, but it is still a contentious and a violence-laden option. And I don't like that our main characters who are supposed to be rooting for are doing that. So,
and like you were saying, like there are ways to portray bad ideas in ways that make it clear the narration is not endorsing that. And that's not always a feeling I got from Robin Hobb. Like the way she writes about some of her female characters, it's like I can see that you're trying to make this feminist, but like I don't know, the way she talks about women in general was like very off-putting to me. It's not just the like not like other girls, like tough girl thing, because I know that was also like a generational thing, is like if you were a strong woman, you had to be physically strong.
That was one of those things that like that specific storyline. I know what you're talking about, Althea's character and kind of how she has that vibe.
And also like Edda.
Yeah, that was a very like novel thing. And it was written, or at the time, like
I'm remembering like Submarine.
That would have been a novel thing. Like that's something that I understand that.
Well, it's like I'm thinking of like the Enchanted Forest Chronicles is like Submarine is kind of a not like other girls character, but the way she's such a great character, and it's also balanced with enough side characters who are more feminine that I feel like it's not an overall commentary on them.
Well, it's more of a like this is how most girls are expected to be. I have no problem with that. Like that's the whole thing. Like Submarine's like that's fine if you like doing that. She just did not. Like she's like, I like swords, I like this, I like that. And you also have to keep in mind that like again, Dealing with Dragons was written in like the 80s. So I think it came out the year I was born.
And it's like that's another thing too, is that I understand the context of the time period, but it's also like when I can think of so many examples that were from even earlier and that I think did it better, I think that holds less weight for me. But
well, like House Moving Castle does such a good job with female characters. Like there's not a single one, like they're all their own person and none of them seem like they're supposed to be like a different kind of like that. I don't think that that's a trope that you have in that book, and it's done so well. But anyways, we've gone on for a little bit longer.
Here's our bonus content on, yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me. This one should be fun. I have a bad book takes video coming out hopefully sometime this week where I've compiled a list of different things I've seen on Twitter that annoy me or enrage me. It just depends. We've got everything from like stupid stuff like please stop being mad about immoral characters who are stuck as teenagers also being with teenagers to I just read like what I like is a dumb thing.
Yeah.
So, no judgment, but some judgment. So anyways, I have Kara linked down below in the description box, and then I'll go ahead and get Past It Classics and Bronte Along also linked down there so that if anyone is interested in those, you can go check them out. And I will see y'all later. That's how I end my videos, right? Bye. Oh wait, I have to do the